Every price has a history. When a loaf of bread becomes more expensive, that change doesn't begin in a supermarket. It begins long before the bread reaches the shelf. A farmer buys fertilizer. The fertilizer producer buys natural gas. The mill turns wheat into flour. The bakery uses electricity and fuel to bake the bread. Trucks transport it to distribution centers. The supermarket stores it until someone places it in a shopping cart. Every step adds cost. Every business passes part of that cost to the next. By the time you reach the checkout, the final price reflects decisions made across an entire global economy. Most people only see the number on the receipt. They never see the system behind it. Welcome to Financial Cycles. In this video, we'll trace that system from beginning to end. We'll explore how globalization made everyday products more affordable for decades. For more than 30 years, the global economy followed a simple idea: produce each stage of a product where it can be done most efficiently. Raw materials came from one country. Components were manufactured in another. Final assembly took place somewhere else. Container shipping connected these locations into one global production network. Transportation became faster, more reliable, and less expensive. Companies could lower production costs while maintaining quality. Specialization improved productivity. Competition reduced prices. Many products that are now part of everyday life became affordable because this system operated with remarkable efficiency. Most people rarely thought about it because it worked quietly in the background. Factories received materials and ships arrived on schedule. The system wasn't simple, it was reliable. That reliability became one of the foundations of modern economic growth. Then, the conditions supporting that system began to change. The pandemic disrupted factories and ports around the world. Semiconductor shortages slowed manufacturing. Russia's invasion of Ukraine affected global markets for energy, grain, and fertilizer. Attacks on commercial shipping forced many cargo vessels to take longer and more expensive routes. Governments began investing in domestic manufacturing for industries such as semiconductors, batteries, and pharmaceuticals. These decisions reduced dependence on a single supplier, but they also increased costs. Building factories requires more investment. Producing closer to home often means higher labor and operating expenses. None of these costs appear on a supermarket shelf. The price on a grocery receipt is the final result of thousands of decisions made across farms, factories, and governments. To understand why life has become more expensive, we need to understand the global system that kept prices low and why it's changing. For nearly 3 decades, globalization operated like an invisible discount on modern life. It allowed companies to search the entire planet for the absolute cheapest inputs. Labor in Southeast Asia, raw materials in South America, energy in Eastern Europe, high-tech components in East Asia. A single smartphone, for example, is not made in one country. Its glass might be developed in the United States, its camera sensors crafted in Japan, its processors manufactured in Taiwan, its lithium mined in Chile, and the final assembly completed in China. Before reaching a store near you, its components travel over 100,000 miles. And yet, for years, that smartphone remained affordable. Why? Because of 2 massive forces: extreme specialization and standardized shipping. The invention of the steel shipping container revolutionized human trade. It reduced the cost of moving goods across oceans to almost zero. Suddenly, shipping shoes from Shanghai to LA cost less than transporting them by truck from LA to San Francisco. The world became flat. Distance no longer mattered. The consumer saw only 2 things: endless abundance and low prices. Televisions became larger and cheaper. Clothing became so inexpensive that it became disposable. Laptops, tools, and household goods that once required months of saving became ordinary purchases. Even when wages grew slowly, this endless supply of cheap manufactured goods made paychecks feel larger. It stretched the purchasing power of the average household. It felt like progress. It felt permanent. But this era of cheap goods rested on hidden conditions that were never written on the receipt. Fuel had to stay cheap. Sea lanes had to remain safe. Factories had to stay open. And geopolitical rivals had to keep cooperating. We mistook a temporary period of global peace for a permanent law of economics. And when those invisible conditions began to break, the bill finally arrived. Then the shocks arrived. It didn't happen all at once, but like a series of dominoes falling across the global economy. First, a global pandemic closed key ports and factories overnight. exposing how fragile just-in-time manufacturing really was. Then, a single container ship ran aground in the Suez Canal, blocking billions of dollars in daily trade and trapping hundreds of vessels at sea. Next, semiconductor shortages halted automobile production lines from Munich to Detroit. And soon after, geopolitical conflicts erupted across critical trade routes. Energy and grain markets collapsed into chaos. Tariffs and export restrictions returned. Drones and missile attacks in vital waterways forced cargo ships to abandon the shortest routes and sail thousands of miles around entire continents. Consider a narrow stretch of water like the Strait of Hormuz or the Red Sea. To most people, these are distant geographic locations. To the global economy, they are pressure points. When a strategic maritime choke point becomes dangerous, insurance costs skyrocket immediately. Shipping companies are forced to take longer paths, consuming vastly more diesel fuel and adding weeks to delivery times. Fewer ships arrive on schedule. Container fees soar. Importers pay more for every single ton of freight, and those costs do not disappear inside the shipping company's balance sheet. They ripple through the entire production chain. The chemical supplier pays more for raw materials. The fertilizer manufacturer pays more for natural gas. The farmer pays more for fertilizer and fuel. The food processor pays more for ingredients and packaging. The wholesaler increases prices to protect its margins. And by the time that product reaches a store shelf, the original cause is almost completely invisible to the buyer. Inflation rarely arrives at the cash register as a single dramatic decision. It arrives as thousands of businesses quietly passing the bill forward, step by step, until it reaches you. This brings us to the most dangerous phase of the transition, the hidden inflation. When costs rise across the global supply chain, companies face a difficult choice. If they simply raise the sticker price, consumers notice immediately and buy less. So businesses find quieter ways to pass the bill forward. They make the packaging slightly smaller while keeping the price the same. A box of cereal contains fewer grams. A detergent bottle yields fewer loads. Restaurants keep their menu prices, but reduce portion sizes. Manufacturers replace durable metal parts with cheaper plastic alternatives. You pay the same amount of money, but you receive less value in return. At the same time, governments and central banks try to control the damage. To fight rising prices, central banks raise interest rates. Their goal is to cool down the economy by making borrowing more expensive. But higher interest rates cannot produce more fertilizer. They cannot build new semiconductor plants overnight, nor can they secure dangerous ocean trade routes. Instead, high interest rates create a second wave of financial pressure on ordinary households. First, global supply disruptions raise the cost of your groceries, fuel, and daily necessities. Then, the policy response raises your mortgage payments, car loans, credit card interest, and business borrowing costs. You end up paying twice for the exact same global crisis. The era of effortless, ultra-cheap globalization is not disappearing entirely, but it is losing its innocence. Moving forward, supply chains will become more localized, more political, and far more expensive to maintain. Resilience has replaced maximum efficiency as the main priority of world powers. For decades, we enjoyed prices that were artificially low because the hidden costs were included for free. Now, those missing costs have finally returned to the receipt. And when that bill arrives, it doesn't go to the architects of the global system. It goes directly to the person at the checkout counter. Understanding these economic cycles is no longer optional. It is essential for protecting your financial future. If you found this breakdown valuable, hit the like button and subscribe to Financial Cycles for more deep dives into money and power. Leave a comment below. Have you noticed shrinkflation in your local supermarket? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next cycle.